And good afternoon on this Monday. Alongside Nina Sperano, I'm John Erickson. We are live outside Appleton Alliance Church. Today is the funeral for driver-engineer Mitch Lundgaard.
Firefighter Mitch Lundgaard was killed on May 15th. He was shot in the line of duty, and today is his funeral service that will be covered throughout the day here today. The funeral procession begins at 1 o'clock, and it is starting at the funeral home, which is at 606 North Oneida Street. And along that route, we have NBC 26's Matt Jarko, who is also there to cover our procession today. Matt.
Nina, as you mentioned, it starts at the home there, and then it will work its way down Wisconsin Avenue. We'll have a great view of the processional making its way down this road and then turning up Mason Street as it works its way to you guys over there at the church. Many people in the community starting to come out. You can see at this intersection of Mason and Wisconsin, a lot of people out here, a lot of American flags out here, and really a lot of emotions as well. This is a trying time right now for the Appleton community, and in hearing from some of the people who are out there who wanted to be here, a chance for them today to show respect, pay their condolences to the fallen Mitch Lundgaard as his processional works its way through the streets now. The biggest thing we're hearing from people about this time is sadness. This is something you never expect to happen in the Appleton community, but it has. And since that time, the Appleton people here have had time to reflect a little bit more about this, start to process a little what is going on. And today, really important for them all to be out here together as a community, really as a family, again, to pay their respects and condolences. So that processional should be starting to work its way down here any minute now. Again, we are on Wisconsin Avenue, and we'll have a much closer look at it throughout our coverage here this afternoon. John and Nina.
Thank you, Matt. The entire city of Appleton and the surrounding areas are mourning the loss of Mitchell Lundgaard today, and they will come out and line the streets for the processional today, leading in to church services later on this evening. Let's bring up a little bit of information so you know what's going on here today. Again, the procession is starting at 1 o'clock this afternoon, and that's starting at 606 North Oneida Street at the Brett Schneider Trenton Nickel Funeral Chapel. That will continue on until they arrive at the church at 2693 Grand Chute Boulevard. Visitation will begin at 3 o'clock, and that will run to approximately 5:30 this evening, depending how long it takes everyone to run through the church today. And then at 6 o'clock, a private service will begin for the family and all uniformed personnel. And after that, there will be a recessional to take everyone here from the church back to the Brett Schneider Trenton Nickel Funeral Chapel. Well, they'll continue recession throughout the city for that 5-mile stretch.
And those are some of the opportunities for people to get involved. The fire department has asked members of the public to line the route for this procession this afternoon. Just getting started right about now, was set to get start at about 1 o'clock at the funeral home that we talked about, and then it's going to come this way to Appleton Alliance Church. We are on the city's northwest side right now, just off of Interstate 41. There's also that opportunity, as you mentioned, Nina, in the procession this evening. After the funeral home, it will go back to the funeral home this evening.
We've been told that the procession will pass over Houdini Elementary School, and we've been told grades 3 through 6 will walk outside and stand along the processional as well to mourn with the community. We have a little bit of information for you about 36-year-old Mitch Lundgaard, who again was killed in the line of duty on May 15th. We know that he married his high school sweetheart of 12 years. They have 3 children. They have 3 boys, ages 9, 7, and 4. Mitchell enjoyed coaching and family trips and trips to Disney World. He's also an avid runner and golfer. We have heard that the family says they're very thankful for the way the community has come together to support them. And there's also a GoFundMe page that has been created for this family. Their initial target was about $100,000. I believe they have surpassed that. And the last time I checked, it was about $162,000, and that's going up every minute.
I think we have a look at that. We can probably put that up on the screen as far as where the GoFundMe is at this hour. Now, Nina mentioned his sons. They are Evan, 9 years old, Logan, 7 years old, and Ryan, 4 years old. And as you mentioned, Nina, he enjoyed watching them play sports and those trips to Disney World. Now, over the last week or so, since his death last Wednesday, we have referred to Mitch as firefighter Mitch Lundgaard. Well, we have learned that posthumously that he was promoted to driver engineer. So there are, of course, different ranks within a fire department. Since his death, he was promoted to driver/engineer Mitch Lundgaard, and so that is how we will be referring to him today.
Well, throughout the city, we know that flags have been lowered to half-staff to honor Mitch Lundgaard. Throughout the city, you can see it right now. There's several flags around us that are lowered at half-staff. Now, according to tradition, when a firefighter is killed in the line of duty, those flags are lowered to half-staff for 30 days, along with wearing a patch over their firefighter's badge to signify someone who was killed in the line of duty, and that again will serve for 30 days as well.
There's a large flag suspended over the roadway here as you make the approach to Appleton Alliance Church, again on the northwest side of the city near Highway 41. Two large ladder trucks holding that flag. I believe that's over the overpass near I-41 here, so that is sort of what people are seeing as they come toward the church here. And we saw there are already people about 100 yards from us right here. There were people at different areas along the procession route already staking their claim, if you will. Mm-hmm. They wanted to make sure that they were out here. If you are thinking of coming out, there's still plenty of time. Do keep in mind any sort of the traffic that might be shut down as the procession does make its way from the funeral home about 5-6 miles away.
5 miles away.
Here to Appleton Alliance Church.
Traffic will be impacted as well, so if you're headed out this afternoon, just be mindful that traffic will be slower. Some streets are closed off for this processional, and the area just will be very much slower, so keep that in mind. Give yourself some extra time to where you're going today. We're going to be out here all afternoon covering this procession, bringing you the live pictures, streaming it everywhere you get your web streaming service. We're also going to have special coverage at 5 and 6 o'clock on NBC 26, and of course 10 as well. You can go to our website, NBC26.com. You can get further information on links for condolences, links to donate to that GoFundMe page, and more information on where we will be bringing you this live coverage.
Lundgaard lived and served in Northeast Wisconsin. He was born in Northeast Wisconsin. Born in Green Bay 36 years ago. Went to Green Bay Southwest High School. And Northeast Wisconsin today is planning to honor him. So many ways that you can be involved, whether that's watching online, whether that's making the trip out here this afternoon if you're nearby, or if you have the time later. Again, the funeral is at 6 o'clock tonight. I believe that's going to go until about 7:30, and then there will be a procession again from here at Appleton Alliance Church back to the funeral home. All of the emergency vehicles are getting lined up already in the parking lot here. That is when I believe you're going to see the fire trucks, perhaps with sirens on the way back to the funeral home. As far as what we're seeing here this afternoon, I don't know if I believe it's more of a silent procession here. You're seeing it on your screen right now.
Yes, it is usually silent.
So what we're going to do for right now, we're going to step aside as far as Nina and me, let you watch the procession. At about 1:10 or so, we're going to go on air on NBC 26 with an update, and we'll be with you. You'll also hear from Matt Jarko as time goes on, as the procession makes its way here to Appleton Alliance. We have different cameras throughout the route here, and
the procession is currently underway. So we're going to take a minute and let you watch this procession, honor the fallen, and we'll get back to you. We'll have more information along the way. Thank you for watching us today.
Excuse me.
And good afternoon, John Erickson alongside Nina Sperano. We are coming to you live at this hour from Appleton Alliance Church on the city's northwest side. This is the funeral for driver-engineer Mitch Lundgaard, the firefighter who was killed in the line of duty in Appleton last week.
Beginning just a few minutes after 1 o'clock, the procession began from the funeral home on Oneida Street all the way to the 5-mile stretch to here at Appleton Alliance Church. We're going to have live team coverage of this procession until ceremony starts at 6 o'clock tonight. And of course, we'll have special team coverage live at 5, 6, and 10 o'clock.
You can stream us wherever you watch NBC 26, on air, online. Thanks for watching. For Nina Sperano, I'm John Erickson.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Nina Sperano, joined by John Erickson. We're here for our team coverage of the funeral of firefighter Mitchell Lundgaard, who was killed in the line of duty on May 15th.
And we've let you know that the way the fire department has asked for you to be involved is to come along the procession route this afternoon. And so I want to bring in someone who is doing just that this afternoon. Paula Reeder, who is Deputy Director of Emergency Management for Outagamie County. Paula, thank you for being here. And tell me about how you and the team you lead, the Community Emergency Response Team, wanted to be out here this afternoon.
We were requested early on Friday to assist in the Emergency Management Office with helping provide rehab for all the emergency responders who they anticipate will be here today to show their respects. So I am the program coordinator for the Outagamie County CERT team, and we interact very heavily with the fire departments in the area, especially Appleton Fire Department. So it was an easy decision to be here today to pay our respects.
You're holding an American flag. I can see that. What I can't see is what's in your heart right now. What is that?
It's a very sad day in this community. You don't hear these types of things happening around here very often, and when they do, it hurts. It hurts because we work very closely with these people, and they do put their lives on the line for us.
Your team members respond oftentimes when there is a fire, and you said that some of your members knew Mitch. Is that correct?
That's correct. We respond very oftentimes for large fire incidents. We provide firefighter rehab for the firefighters when they are working on large incidents. A couple of our members did know the family personally, so they're taking it very hard.
Okay. Thanks so much for being out here and the time this afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you for doing the
Paula Reeder, Outagamie County Emergency Management. Thank you so much. And so Paula is certainly not alone. More and more people are coming along the roadside right here. You can maybe see over our shoulders right here what we're seeing at this hour. Paula and her team holding American flags, and they are certainly not alone. As we mentioned earlier, I'll call it our broadcast here, there's a large American flag draped over the road as you make the drive here to Appleton Alliance Church, held up by two ladder trucks, and on the door of one of those ladder trucks, it was in memory of Mitch Lundgaard.
At approximately 1 o'clock this afternoon, the procession began to here, Appleton Alliance Church. The procession began at the funeral home, which is at 606 North Oneida, and that's about a 5-mile stretch here, which will take about 30 minutes or so for it to get here to Appleton Alliance Church. And then at 3 o'clock, there will be viewing services inside the church. And we have live team coverage of this procession. We're going to toss it out to NBC 26's Matt Jarko, who is along the procession route. Matt.
Nina, American flags out there, a lot of American flags out here, really a lot of tears as well. This was an incredibly moving processional. Silence as hundreds and hundreds of cars went through, the people lining the streets, watching them without their phones out. There were no phones. People were just taking this in, watching this, letting the emotions speak for themselves tonight. It was really something pretty incredible to see the community coming out here to support them in this way, the firefighters that went through, and the police as well. Really, the entire Appleton community rallying behind those departments right now. We spoke with some people before these processionals went through, talked about all of the sadness that they're dealing with right now, but hoping that this can kind of turn the page a little bit, show everybody out there that they are a community, a family together. And I thought one person really summed it up nicely. They said that all of these voices coming together make it incredibly loud. And it is one very loud, powerful message to the fire department and driver engineer Mitch Lundgaard tonight. Thank you. We are behind you. We support you. And we send our condolences. John and Nina.
Thank you, Matt.
That is a loud message. Matt Jarko along the procession route this afternoon. Matt, thanks so much. I do want to reset to talk a little bit about how we got here. It was last Wednesday afternoon, about 5:30. Appleton police and fire crews called to Valley Transit Center, the bus station in town, for a report of a man who needed medical help. Police say that situation escalated after that man displayed a handgun. Shots ended up being exchanged, and Mitch Lundgaard ended up passing away. A police officer was also hit, as well as a bystander, and those two, the police officer and the bystander, are recovering. Police say the other person with the gun, a man from Wausau, also died.
And here we are 5 days later in this procession for his funeral. Right now, his body being delivered here to Appleton Alliance Church. People coming out from all over the city, the surrounding cities, all over the state to honor 36-year-old Mitchell Lundgaard. Now, here's some details of what's going to happen here today. Again, we mentioned at 1 o'clock this procession began, this 5-mile stretch procession. At 3 o'clock, there will be visitation for people to come inside the church and pay their respects. That's going to be approximately 3 o'clock to about 5:30, up until the time the private funeral service for the family and all uniformed personnel that will begin at 6 o'clock. We have learned a little bit about Mitchell over these last few days of who he was, what type of man he was. We know Mitchell Lundgaard, he was born in 1982 in Green Bay. We do know that his parents are Jim and Marlene Lundgaard. He graduated from Green Bay Southwest High School in 2000. He married his high school sweetheart, Lindsay Vogel, July 8th of 2006. He has 3 boys, Evan 9, Logan 7, and Ryan 4. We know he's a golfer, an avid runner. He is a coach to his son's sports teams. And we do know he will be laid to rest at Riverside Cemetery in Appleton after all this is over.
He was posthumously promoted. We've referred to him since last Wednesday as firefighter. Mitch Lundgaard, he is now driver engineer. Mitch Lundgaard. And the bridge that leads us here is starting to be filled up more and more with people. We have different camera angles throughout the procession that started at the funeral home over the 5-mile stretch here to Appleton Alliance Church. If you're nearby and you'd like to make it out here, the fire department has asked that you do just that. Other ways you can get involved after the funeral here at Appleton Alliance at 6 o'clock, which is expected to last for about an hour and a half. That's another opportunity that the fire department has asked for people to line the roads back to the funeral home.
And at some point there will be a bell ringing service, and as well as the fireman's prayer. This is a long-standing tradition with all line-of-duty firefighter deaths. This is a ceremony that symbolizes the firemen's end of watch. This is historical. They've been doing this for 200 years. Long ago, back in the day, they used to ring a bell whenever there was a fire, calling all firefighters to that place where they need to put out that fire. And back in the day, the last ring would end the end of the emergency, and that's where the symbolism here is with the ceremony that will be after the church services today, that bell ringing ceremony and fireman's prayer, again to represent the end of watch. We're going to be live here with team coverage throughout this procession until the procession makes it here to Appleton Alliance Church. We're going to have our special team coverage at 5 and 6 o'clock on NBC 26.
As far as how you can watch us, wherever you are right now, in addition to Facebook Live, NBC26.com, our different streaming platforms, if you will, on your TV, whether that's Roku, Apple TV, items like that. And of course, again, full coverage on NBC26 at 5, 6, and the Now at 6:30.
And if you do want to be a part of this, come down here, stand along the processional. You can also go to our website, NBC26.com. We're going to have information on how you can send your condolences. You can contribute to the GoFundMe account that's raised more than $160,000 that goes directly to the Lundgaard family.
So for now, for Nina Sperano, I'm John Erickson. We'll be back as this procession continues. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Nina Sperano, joined by my co-anchor John Erickson. We are live at Appleton Alliance Church in Appleton for the funeral of firefighter Mitchell Lundgaard, who was killed in the line of duty on May 15th. And right now you can see behind us the procession into the church has begun just a few minutes ago. All these vehicles, these police officer vehicles, firefighter vehicles, fire trucks, all lining in one by one, headed into Appleton Alliance Church. And somewhere along this procession is the body of Mitchell Lundgaard.
This procession started about 5 miles away from here at the top of the hour at a funeral home. It has made its way to our location, northwest side of Appleton Alliance Church. We heard from Matt Jarko earlier, who was along the route, and said the message here is that all these people standing alongside the route is a loud one. And as you're seeing right now, fire crews standing on the fire truck here, Appleton Fire Crew, as it makes its way by. These are the colleagues of driver engineer Mitchell Lundgaard, fire truck 9341 right there. We see black sheets draped over the sirens in front of the truck that just passed by. Firefighters standing, looks like at attention on these trucks as they do roll by.
And you can see here in this fire truck, you can see the coffin of Mitchell Lundgaard in the top of that fire truck. It is draped with an American flag. Several servicemen raising their hands with white gloves over the coffin, signaling their respect. This is an extremely somber moment here. A lot of people lining the streets, paying their respects. This is difficult for a lot of people. The entire community here in the city of Appleton, the surrounding cities, people across the state coming here today to pay their respects. This procession began this afternoon at 1 o'clock, the 5-mile stretch from the funeral home to Appleton Alliance Church. At 3 p.m. this afternoon, visitation will begin. The process of visitation will run from 3 p.m. to about 5:30 this evening, where the services for full honors will be at 6 o'clock, followed by a procession, followed by a bell service ceremony and the fireman's prayer.
And let's listen in to the sounds of the vehicles that are rolling by us right now. We'll step aside for just a moment here. And so Appleton Police led off this procession, and it looks like Appleton Police are at the rear of this procession as well. The procession has made its way to Appleton Alliance Church, and the fire truck that we saw draped with black drapes over its siren, over its hood, was the fire truck carrying the casket of driver engineer Mitchell Lundgaard, and the procession has made its way around on the street that you've been watching on here and has wound its way into the church parking lot. And so I believe what's going to happen now is we are going to see the casket removed from the fire truck that it traveled here on, and then taken into the church here. And so it looked like that fire truck might soon be pulling up toward the entrance there. So
let's talk a little bit about Mitchell Lundgaard here. Let's pay our respect being out here today, but also honoring him as a man and who he was. He was 36 years old. He was born in 1982 on July 9th in Green Bay. He went to Green Bay Southwest High School, graduated in the year 2000. He married his high school sweetheart, Lindsay Vogel. They married in 2006 on July 8th. Together, they have 3 boys, Logan, 7, Evan, 9, and Ryan, 4. He was an avid runner, a coach, a golfer. Today, a full service ceremony will follow here after the funeral, and he will be laid to rest at Riverside Cemetery in Appleton.
And one of the details that stuck out to me from his obituary was that he loved going on trips to Disney World with his family.
An avid family man, dedicating his life to his family events, and of course to his job.
More than a decade on the job, serving the Appleton community here. And so, Josh, our photographer, maybe what we do now is have you spin around, because I do believe they are going to get their personnel off of the fire truck that is carrying the casket. So if you, we'll step off this way, Josh.
Thank you for staying with us through this live coverage wherever you are streaming your service. We'll be live here this afternoon with continuing coverage of this procession, where again, visitation will begin at 3 p.m. to approximately 5:30 p.m., where the funeral service will begin at 6 o'clock tonight. If you want to be a part of this, they're encouraging everyone in the city to come out and line the streets for this procession. You can also go to our website, NBC26.com, where you can offer your condolences. We have links there to the GoFundMe page, where they've raised more than $160,000 that goes straight to the Lundgaard family and all of the support that they need.
The next chance for you to be involved is at about 7:30 tonight. The procession will make its way back to the funeral home from this location at Appleton Alliance Church, and that is when you are going to see the emergency vehicles from around the area also included in the procession. What we saw here were Appleton Police, Appleton Fire, and maybe a few other agencies, but it was really the focus here on Appleton. Driver engineer Mitch Lundgaard, the Appleton firefighter who was killed in the line of duty last week. So again, we are going to step aside here. We'll have full coverage on NBC 26 at 5 and 6 and at 6:30 on the Now Wisconsin. And if you're watching us on our website right now, or maybe on Roku, Apple TV, if you joined us in the middle or at the tail end of this broadcast, you can watch from the beginning on our Facebook page, on our NBC 26 Facebook page. For Nina Sperano, I'm John Erickson.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks so much for being here.